Today I am going to be discussing what I saw in my admissions file. I have watched so many viewing my admissions file videos when I was applying to college, so the second I finished my first semester at Michigan, I was in the admissions office to see what actually got me in. I am honestly very surprised by what I saw, so let's get into it. To see my file, I had to email the FERPA office to schedule an appointment. I only got 20 minutes to view my application in an empty room. They did not allow phones or electronic, so I had to literally scribble down everything I saw as fast as I could. They gave me a quick rundown on how the application review process goes. You usually get 2 to 3 readers who rank you on an overall scale of 1 to 15, with 1 being the highest possible score. From there, they rank your application in 4 specific subcategories: academics, curriculum involvement, and overall interest. For these, they rank you on a tiered scale: outstanding, excellent, very good, good average, and below average. For this video, I'm going to break down exactly what they said in my file across 4 parts: my academics and curriculum, my essays, my extracurriculars, and a few other comments they wrote that are worth noting. Before we dive in, I wanted to give a little context on my background. I applied to the College of Engineering at Michigan with the goal of majoring in computer science. My application cycle was actually the first year they implemented the advanced selection policy. Usually, engineering students are admitted undeclared, but starting with my year, if you wanted to major in CS, you had to be accepted directly into the major during the admissions process. I went to an out-of-state public charter school that offered a lot of AP and honors courses, and the admissions officers ranked my school as excellent. I believe they rank the schools in order to look at how you performed relative to the specific opportunities your high school provided. I also wanted to preface that I am not an admissions officer by any means, nor do I know how they evaluate students behind the scenes. I am just sharing what I think they saw and evaluated based on their comments. Now let's unpack the actual rankings, starting with my academics and curriculum. I want to acknowledge the pressure around getting perfect stats. It's easy to feel like you aren't enough if your numbers don't look a certain way. Michigan reviews applications holistically, meaning they consider all parts of your application. While academics show you can handle the rigor, they aren't the whole story. My evaluators spent way more time commenting on my voice in my essays and the impact of my extracurriculars. Those were the parts where they saw me as a person and a contributor to the campus, not just a set of test scores. I'm going to keep my academic stats a bit vague, but I had a 4.0 on weighted GPA and a 4.8 plus weighted GPA. My school does not rank, so I do not know my class rank. I ended up submitting my test scores as well. My SAT was in the 99 plus percentile, and I also received 4 in FES on my AP exams. For my curriculum, I'd say I had a pretty challenging course workload throughout high school. I took 11.5 honors courses. I also took 12 APs. They ranked both my academics and curriculum as outstanding. They said, quote, exceptional academic perfection, near perfect SAT with 4s and 5s on APs, all A's and clear challenge of curriculum. End quote. They also noted, quote, 4.0 with my math SAT score and 4 and 5s on AP exams with 12 AP classes. End quote. My takeaway here is that they really look for a clear challenge in your curriculum. If you can show you're excelling with a heavy workload, it just proves you're ready for the rigor at Michigan. I also noticed they specifically highlighted my math SAT score, which makes sense since the engineering curriculum is so math heavy. Stats are only one piece of the puzzle. Michigan places a huge emphasis on what you do outside the classroom, which brings us to the next category, involvement. For context on my extracurriculars, I had 2 CS research internships focused on machine learning and backend, which I balanced with leading several committees for youth councils. Through my youth council work, I led initiatives such as organizing STEM outreach events and providing resources for youth in my community to pursue their interests in STEM. I was also part of a statewide leadership cohort, won a national NCWIT Aspirations in Computing Award, and was involved in every STEM honor society my school offered. They ranked my involvement as outstanding. The evaluators wrote, quote, extensive involvement including research opportunities, youth equity leadership in town, other STEM organizations, STEM-related outreach, organizing and NCWIT awards and honors, end quote. They also said, quote, significant involvement in the field with research internships, leadership, and national awards. Involved in social justice as a youth leader. Clear interest in CS with multiple areas of coding. Clear interest in CS with research in specifics. End quote. My main takeaway from their comments is that they really look for involvement in areas Michigan prioritizes: research and leadership. Since is a top research institution, they specifically highlighted my research internships as a sign that I'd fit into that academic culture. They also looked closely at my leadership roles, which show them I could take initiative for causes I care about, proving I was a fit for that leaders in best environment. In my case, having a national honor like the NCWIT award backed up the fact that I was excelling in my field while also leading others. I think the most important thing when writing about your extracurriculars is conveying why you did the ECs you did and how you contributed to your environment. That helps them figure out how you'll actually fit in at Michigan. I pursue these activities because I got to dive into research and figure out what I actually like in CS, but I also wanted to create change in my community. I led initiatives to help other students explore STEM, something I really wish I had growing up. Whether that was through organizing events or providing resources, I was focused on building that support network and contributing to my environment as much as I possibly could. Your activities show what you've done, but your essays are where you can express who you are. This brings us to the section of my file I was the most shocked by: the essays. I have a lot to unpack here, so buckle up for this ride. For my personal statement, I focused on my trajectory in CS. I was really honest about some setbacks I ran into while pursuing STEM, but I didn't want it to come off like a pity story. Instead, I structured it like a hero's journey to show what I did next, how I worked through it and built initiatives to move past those barriers. Then, for my Why Michigan essay, I really wanted to show that I wasn't just looking for a top-ranked school. I laid out my specific goal on what I wanted to do with my CS degree, and I connected that to the actual resources and environment Michigan offers. I wanted them to see that I wasn't just looking for a top-ranked school, I was looking for the specific environment where my goals and their resources actually aligned. They ranked my essay in the top few. They also ranked my overall interest as outstanding, which was really conveyed by my Why Michigan essay. They said, quote, "Very strong essays, among best essays read by evaluators so far with genuine interest." End quote. I was honestly shocked that my essays ranked in the top few. I never expected my essays to be among the best, because I definitely took some creative risks that I thought might come off as a bit corny or unconventional. I structured my personal statement to read as a hero's journey, and even included lines of code as headers to help tell my story and express my interest in CS while making my essay unique. I was really worried it would be too much, but seeing the admissions officers call it a strong voice was a huge relief. My takeaway is, if you're writing about setbacks in any of your essays, be sure to focus on how the setbacks shaped who you are and how you took action to address them to show your personal growth and initiative. For the Why Michigan essay, it really comes down to showing how the school specifically supports your purpose. Don't just drop resources, but show how those opportunities actually connect to your goals and what you want out of a university. It's about proving that Michigan is the right environment for you to grow. To wrap things up, I want to move on to some final comments and hidden factors in my file that I think are really worth mentioning. One thing the admissions officers explicitly noted in my admissions file, which definitely contributed to my overall interest ranking, was me contacting my admissions counselor. I wanted to show that I was genuinely curious and interested in particular resources Michigan offered, so instead of just emailing to say hi or asking something I could have found in 5 seconds on the website, I reached out with a curated list of questions about specific Michigan resources that actually appealed to me. It proved I had done my research and had a genuine curiosity about the community, and it clearly left an impression on my admissions officers. If you're serious about a school, find out who your regional counselor is or find the contact to the school's admissions office and reach out with questions that actually matter to you. The part that actually shocked me the most was seeing that they wrote, quote, "Overall exceptional in applicant pool," end quote. Honestly, it was such a relief. I'd spent so much time stuck in this loop of, is this what an admissions officer wants to see? Versus, is my application actually good enough to send? I was afraid to just be myself because I didn't know if I had what they were looking for. For me, being authentic meant taking a risk. I was vulnerable in my essay and made it unique by framing it as a hero's journey with specific headers, which was definitely not the standard way to do it. It was the same with my ECs. I found my niche and stuck to it. Instead of just doing things for the sake of it, I chose activities that connected back to my story, which meant I could speak about why I cared about them with actual receipts. Seeing that note proved that the best thing I did was stop trying to play the game of, do I have what the admissions officers want, and just present who I actually am. Also, don't think less of yourself because you see others taking different paths. If you focus on your own mission and your why, you might be exactly what they are looking for. Seeing my file made me wish I could go back and tell my high school self to just breathe. If you're in the middle of the application process right now, my biggest advice is to just be authentically you. Don't try to guess what you think the admissions officers want to see. Tell them about yourself, your story, your goals, your values, your initiatives, and what has defined who you are today. Don't be afraid to express why you're passionate about the opportunities you've already taken and the ones you plan to pursue here at Michigan. At the same time, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Admissions officers really do look for that drive and want to see that you're willing to push your limits. Show them why you're a fit for the Michigan community, but also why Michigan is the right fit for you. If you have questions about the file or want to see my specific essay tips, let me know in the comments. Go Blue!